Welcome back to Dawn. Spring is finally here. Hallelujah. And here to help us with our spring planting is Peter Smith, owner of City Planter. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, nobody's happier to see you than me. It's just been a long, ugly winter, hasn't it?
It's been an awful winter.
So first of all, what tips do you have? Like all winter when the snow wasn't too high, I would take my coffee grounds, throw it on my, the beds outside. But what tips do you have for people to get ready for this planting?
The first thing I would do is check your containers. They've been out all winter, and I've noticed a lot of dead plants sitting in water. So having
they get like moldy and nasty.
The drainage isn't happening, and so those plants are dying. So first tip. Check the drainage.
Okay.
Make sure your container is draining, and
a lot of times what I do in mine outside to avoid that, I put some river rock or something in the bottom.
Correct.
And then I plant it. Am I doing good? Am I getting?
Yeah.
I'm scoring good with.
You're ahead of some people.
But I've learned over the years, because then if the river rock's in the bottom and then I do the soil, it helps a little bit. I think. So.
And basically, you want to check the soil. Make sure it's nice and fluffy, ready for the new season. If the soil level is low, you want to make sure that you've added soil to bring it up to the level that you want.
Okay.
And then you're ready to add your plants.
All right, should we get started?
Sure.
Give us some tips here.
I've brought
got a big planter here.
A rather large planter. Oftentimes we'll plant an arrangement that has some evergreen, boxwood.
And this is a great
perennials. One. Yes, and a little small, but so some perennials, and then we'll add some flowers.
Okay, great.
And so we'll start with, this is a hellebore, and it's a great spring flower because it's
beautiful. It looks like a dogwood almost.
Yeah, and it's blooming this time of year. So, and it's a perennial. It comes back year after year. So we'll put this in.
All right. So you kind of put some evergreen with a perennial, kind of mix it up a little bit.
And you'll have some evergreens, maybe some grasses like.
And this is an evergreen.
This is an evergreen. Oh.
Eek.
I'm gonna make a
Don't
mess.
worry about it. We like to get our hands dirty.
And the great thing about using evergreens and perennials is they last year round. So the expense of planting is quite a bit less than if you're constantly adding in annuals for every new season.
Okay.
So
and something like this, so you would have put your river rock or some kind of rocks in the bottom for the help with the drainage.
Correct.
And then I noticed you use organic dirt. We can talk more about that later, but why why do you use organic?
Well, organic's nice because in the case of the soil we're using today, it's locally derived. And they're not using a sphagnum peat base, which is a little hard on the environment.
Look how beautiful that looks, and you did that so
there
quickly.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then often we'll add something for a spring flower. So
very nice.
If we
and these are everywhere, the grocery store, and you can find these.
These are little violas. They're Johnny Jump Up.
Nice little violas. Look how gorgeous that looks.
The last element would be something that's going to hang.
I'm going to scooch this over, last element, then we'll get to the other one.
Right.
All right. And voila.
This
Look
is
at that.
Creeping Jenny. It's another perennial.
Nice little spring.
And it'll continue to cascade.
Gorgeous. Look at that. Lovely. Okay, let's do the orchid. Ooh!
Oops, sorry.
My back.
Okay.
Do a little orchid action here.
This is Kokedama, and this is a Japanese planting technique.
Okay.
And it basically involves a sheet moss.
Okay.
For the orchid, we don't need soil, so we're using just a sphagnum moss.
Okay.
And
now, do you have to buy these mosses? Like this moss grows all over in my yard on rocks.
If you have in your yard, you're welcome to use it. You can also buy it dry. In sheets.
Okay.
And we basically just form.
Just wrap that up.
A little ball.
This is gorgeous. And by the way, for like baby showers and bridal showers, these make fun little gifts for people. If you do something like that, I've done that before. It's a creative little fun little party favor gift of life.
Yes.
Can I help you here? You want me
I'm
to?
going to start wrapping.
Okay. So you're just
And,
wrapping it up with some.
This is a wax twine,
Okay.
cotton, and you're basically going around and around and around. And the moss is holding the soil, or in this case, the sphagnum moss. And we do have an example there.
Oh,
of
okay. It's
a,
over here to your right. So in other words, can you see that? So that's what it looks like when you hang it up. So look at how gorgeous that is. So you can do it with a fern. You can do it with an orchid. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then
Really, any
would you
houseplant.
just spritz it?
This
How do
you want
you-
to actually physically dunk in the water.
Okay.
So you'll have a bucket of water.
Okay.
And for an orchid, you're watering maybe once a week.
Okay, wonderful.
And it's good.
While you wrap this up in the commercial
right.
break, and we're going to talk about some urban planting, in other words, or for your windowsills or that sort of thing, or maybe the deck. We've got some great planter ideas with Peter when we come right back here on The Dawn Show. And welcome back to The Dawn Show. Woohoo! It's spring and Peter's here. He's going to show us some balcony planting and the big trend for the season, air plants.
Yes.
Yes. And by the way, should we show the finished product
yes.
of this? And that was so quick and easy that you did.
And you can hang that as it is,
Yes.
or hang it a little more natural. An orchid would normally be in a tree, turning backwards.
Okay, a little more naturel. I love it. That's a great idea, and look how quick and easy it was. So you want to start with the air plants, or you want to do the planters? What
We
do
can
you want to
start
do,
with the
Peter?
air plants.
All right, so that's over here?
Yes. And basically these are tillandsias. They're epiphytes,
Okay.
and they're going to just hang out. They don't need soil. All you need to do is water.
Pretty low maintenance.
Pretty low maintenance, as long as you can remember to water once or twice a week.
And how do you water those? You just use this spritzer thing?
Yes, so you'll
Okay.
just spritz, or oftentimes, I'm going to reach behind you.
Okay. So you've got one of these where do you get these air plants, besides from you? But
You can mail order them,
Okay.
especially
look at
this time
that.
of year. Dunking them for upwards of a half an hour, allowing the plant to take in the moisture that it needs.
And why is this water blue? Is that
We put a little bit of tillandsia fertilizer in with
nice?
it.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be every time, but it does need to be watered once or twice a week, so maybe every few times.
It's a beautiful effect. So talk to me about, especially I know a lot of the work that you do, obviously you're in Northern Liberties, so a lot of people don't have the huge big yard or even a big huge
Right.
patio, so they want something that's beautiful, but that can be in a planter or right in their front porch.
And we'll oftentimes have people come into the store with photographs and rough measurements.
Oh, okay.
And we can kind of help them go through the process of finding the right size, shape container. And it's usually a successful project.
So what have you got here? This is just if you like to cook and you like your herbs.
So it's a little simple herb garden.
Okay.
And having that, maybe on a table out on the patio is
Okay.
fun. You can pick from it for cooking through the season. It's also an earlier spring planting that you can do. They'll survive the cool nights that we're going to be having.
Yeah, and a lot of the mints, I planted one years ago, a chocolate mint,
Mm-hmm.
smells amazing, and the critters don't like it for whatever reason, so they leave it alone. So sometimes it's good to put that in the flower garden because the deer, the critters
there's-
won't eat it, or
there's-
the bugs.
There's quite a few, yes, that will deter the bugs. A lot of the scented geraniums and plants like that.
Yeah, the geraniums are great. And what about the sun and shade, knowing, the baskets and the size and all that good stuff?
It's an important part of planning, to know what your sun requirements are.
So if you have a sunny spot that's just the sun is beating down all day, what do you want and don't?
You want to choose a full sun plant.
Okay.
Something that's going to, especially on a patio, something that can take the heat as well as drying out. We'll often do, and then on a patio, sometimes you're looking for a block from a neighbor or something like that. So we'll do larger junipers as a type of evergreen screening. They do well in the sun, they do well in the heat.
And what you brought these here?
Yes.
So it's like a movie set.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding because they're really light. But I was trying to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger like. So this is a nice light planter.
And we use as many nice light containers as we
Say
can.
that 20 times
Yes.
fast, right, Peter? And why this? Like in my house, because it's windy and it's a big patio, I have the heavy stone. But this, if you're on if you're in a protected area.
Once planted, we can weigh it down a little bit. The soil, the plant holds it down.
Okay.
But
These
going
are
up
great.
3 flights of stairs with a concrete
You want the
plant-
lighter one, unless you want to get the workout. That's absolutely right. You know what I love recently? There are so many branches down from the huge old trees, and I've been taking them, sticking them in my planters like this out front with some rocks and water,
Yeah.
and they're starting to bloom. And it's
Oh,
just
wow.
it's gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
just something fun to do, instead of throwing them out with the rubbish, just go ahead and put them in the planter.
And we've been bringing all those branches into our store and just decorating with them.
Oh, so see, now you're making me feel good. Peter, thank you so much. We have to have you back again, but I love this. I love that it's spring, that we're talking about planting. Thank you, Peter.
Great, thanks.
Hope your day blooms. Have a good one. See you tomorrow here on The Dawn Show.